Hi, and welcome to another episode of CITAM Church Online. First of all, we are really grateful for each and every one of you who has been tuning in faithfully, sending in your comments, your compliments, all your questions, and engaging us in this wonderful journey that we have begun of CITAM Church Online. We really appreciate it, and may we keep on interacting and engaging. Today, I'd like to talk about grudges. Yes, we either have been held accountable in one way or another in as far as grudges are concerned, or you might be watching this right now and you have a grudge towards someone. Today we'd like to talk about exactly that, grudges. Now, grudges are normal. Let's start there. It is very normal for you to have a grudge because we always hold people responsible for their actions. Some of us have encountered and experienced things through different, life experiences and interactions with our fellow peers or people who are older than us or people even who might be younger than us, and they have left us offended, or they even did things and said things that really hurt us. Some of us might be holding the grudge against God himself because we feel there are certain situations he just didn't come through the way he ought to. It is normal for us to feel the way we do. And today, we are going to explore further how we can deal with that. Now, a grudge is basically unforgiveness. You felt someone did something wrong to you and you decided, you know what, you shouldn't have made me feel the way you did. And for that matter, I am going to sit here and think about what you've done. And I just let it marinate. That is a grudge that you're building up. Now, it is often said that a grudge is in some way, on some parameters, just anger boiling inside of you and unforgiveness that you have decided not to let go of. God is very clear, especially in the book of Leviticus 19 and in verse 18. He tells us not to hold grudges towards one another because he is the Lord. When he says he is the Lord, he basically means that he is the only one who has the moral high ground to hold someone accountable for their actions to the extent through which we are using as a grudge. When you hold a grudge towards someone, you have basically determined their fate. They offended you and you decided, you know what, you're not worth it, you have really messed up, and I am going to cluster you in this box of people who do not deserve to be forgiven. That is what a grudge basically is doing. And you have made yourself judge and jury over that person's life and have decided, this guy is not worth my forgiveness, this guy is not worth redemption. That should not be the case. When you hold a grudge towards someone, it's like acid in a cup. When the acid is in the cup, it affects the cup more than it affects the people who are walking around that cup. That is what grudges do to us. They affect us more than they affect those people who have actually offended us. What should we do then towards dealing with these grudges? It is important for you to realize what effect the grudge has on you. Whoever it is you do not talk to anymore, whoever it is you don't feel like seeing or looking at or even hearing, has someone even passed next to you and you just feel disgusted simply because you hold something against them, you need to start dealing with it eventually, because that is going to hurt you even more, to the point where it even becomes a sin because of your anger. The Bible tells us not to let our anger lead us towards sinning. Now, with the grudges that you may be having or that you may have experienced or you're still holding on to right now, one important thing that you should note is that we have to release this burden eventually. You cannot walk around with these grudges for that long. They will affect your health, they will affect you psychologically, even your trust might be affected in the long run. And you might have even started experiencing some of these issues. So what then do we do? It's simple. One, you realize whoever it is that has offended you is human just like you. You may also have offended someone, or you are seated there thinking, you know what, but they didn't deserve to be forgiven. You also didn't deserve to be forgiven. But here's the deal. Christ forgave us anyway. regardless of whatever it is we have done, whatever sin we may have committed, or whatever we may harbor against one another, Christ chooses to forgive us. Now, for us as Christians, and for you out there who's thinking, but how do I go about it? They hurt me so much. One, you need to let it go. It is difficult, but it starts with realizing that you have to let go of this hurt eventually. Hurting people hurt other people. If you continue holding on to that grudge, it will hurt you, and you will realize that in retrospect and also as a ripple effect, you are going to start hurting other people. Sometimes it's subconscious, sometimes it's knowingly, but the end result is that someone is still going to get hurt eventually. After you realize this, you have to come to the point where you decide, I am going to forgive and let go of whatever issues I may have. Remember, forgiveness is not reconciliation. You may forgive someone, but you may not necessarily reconcile with them, because forgiveness is highly dependent on you. Reconciliation is highly dependent on both parties coming to a middle ground. For you, forgive, because that is what the Lord teaches us to do. It is best for you to forgive. As far as reconciliation is concerned, you may not really achieve it, but if you get the opportunity to reconcile, and whoever it is you want to reconcile with is also open to it, please go ahead and do it. There's no reason why you should lose a friendship and get antagonistic with someone else simply because of issues that you failed to resolve, yet they are within your capacity to resolve them. So remember, your realization of the issue and the grudge at hand, and your forgiveness towards that person, and then eventually reconciliation. I know reconciliation might be difficult, but even Paul tells us, in as far as it is dependent on you, live at peace with one another. So play your part. Ensure that you try as much as possible to push the reconciliation agenda and let go of whatever hurt that person may have caused you. And eventually, I am pretty sure you will experience God's peace, you will experience God's love, and you will come to an understanding of how frail we are as humans and how capable we are also of offending other people, just as we have also been offended. So remember, you may be holding a grudge, you may think it's impossible to forgive someone, but know that impossible is nothing. You have to start somewhere. Please ensure that you try. Try as much as possible to let go of that hurt. And as much as it has been said, let go and let God. So please, 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 let us try as much as possible to let go of that hurt and be the agents of peace and the instruments of reconciliation with one another. My name is Richard Oketch, and you are watching CITAM Church Online. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our Facebook page is open, our Instagram account is also active. You can DM us, Twitter, our email address is on the screen, and our telephone numbers are also there. And we also have our church services open for each and every one of you. We'd like to continue to fellowship with you, and we'd like to walk with you and engage with you consistently. Thank you and goodbye.